Sup, you Eurovision fools? It's Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and this is Mattitude, the Eurovision live stream where we talk about, guess what, Eurovision, but today in particular, we're going to talk about Melodifestivalen in Sweden. Of course, we're going to discuss the news of the week as well, and I am here to go through that with all of you. Again, my name is Matt, but you probably know that by now, and boy, did you watch Melodifestivalen? Oh my god, what a show. I am sad that it's over, only because it means it also is the end of the Eurovision national final season. This was the last one, and maybe I should be glad because it's so exhausting. At the same time, it feels like, what happened? Time just flew. But here we are, and we have to discuss the results first of Melodifestivalen. And boy, we have a winner. We have another song in the running. And after 4 semifinals and a second chance round, we had the final that we had today, where we had 12 acts competing it, and in the end, the act that won but was the clear favorite in the betting odds has also won the televote and the jury vote, ladies and gentlemen. Tusse is going to Eurovision, and with his song Voices, a landslide win in the televote for sure, and also a good amount in the international vote. So there is no denying that this is the song that Sweden wants to send to the contest. And yeah, that is what it was. Let me go back here. The actual jury gave Tusse 79 points, and that is a 10-point lead over the second placer, Erik Saade, every minute. And then in third place with the juries was Daughter, Little Todd with 57 points, and in fourth place were the returning champions, the Mamas, with in the middle receiving 50 points. So that is what we have. So we're going to have another song in the lineup, and in the next few days, we're going to have the rest of them as well. But this is what happened. So let's talk this through. So 12 songs, and I would love to hear from you as well as far as like how this ended up according to your taste. So, the televote, and I'm still waiting for my website to be updated in terms of how many points they've received, but it was like over 90 points from the televote went to Tusse. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the act that finished in second place with the televote was the Mamas in the middle, but they received, I think, 56 points, if my memory serves me correctly. And that is still a fantastic result, don't get me wrong, but certainly was not able to catch up to the big score that came from Tusse. So it was a clear win. And in terms of surprises, let me think here. In terms of surprises, who I thought was a big surprise was actually Clara Hammarström with Beat of Broken Hearts. And it has nothing to do with the song that's not being good or bad, but with the fact that it did much better than I thought, both in the jury and the televote. And that is just how it goes sometimes. But I think that is enjoyable. And I finally have some of the results here. So, by the way, I didn't say hi to all of you in the chat. Forgive me. It's been already a interesting day here, and everything is happening. So don't think that I haven't seen you in the chat. But I'm going to tell you, if you watched, I put out a video of my personal favorites. And so what happened tonight should not come as a surprise. The surprise that the Mamas were my clear favorite. They weren't even my favorite last year when they actually won, but this year they absolutely were. I was all about the ladies. I loved Daughter song. I was a big fan of Charlotte Peretti, but I knew from the get-go that she had no shot whatsoever in going anywhere with those results. So, overall, Tusse is first, and then in second place we have Erik Saade with I Love You in the Morning, da 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 da. No, I Want You, I Need You. What is it? I keep forgetting it. So Erik Saade finished in second place, and in third place it's the Mamas, and in fourth place Daughter. And the interesting part is that Once again, the Mamas beat Daughter by 1 point. Granted, neither of them ended up winning the whole thing, but ultimately, that is what ended up again, because Eric and both Tusse ended up ahead of him, and that is basically exactly what the odds predicted, the betting odds. The betting odds when it comes to Melodifestivalen are very, very accurate. And I will gonna talk a little bit about also how I feel about that, because I do think there is some kind of influence going on, but I would love to hear from you as well. So we'll go through the songs real quick, and then we'll go from there. And let me bring up the results. Still updating here. I don't know why it's taking so long. Okay, here we go. So, Tusse in first place with 96 points, followed by Eric Saade with Every Minute with in second place. Interestingly enough, in terms of Eric Sade's Every Morning, he only finished, I should say, in one, two, three, four, fourth place with the televote. Tusse was first in the televote with overwhelming 96. In second, it was the Mamas with In the Middle receiving 56 points. Then Clara Klingenstrom, Behöver inte dig idag, the very quiet and sweet song, finished in third place with the televote. This is a fantastic result, especially for a song that is performed in Swedish. It became a little bit of an underdog and fan favorite. I'm glad it did as well as it did. And then Eric Saade in fourth place with Every Minute, and Daughter in receiving 49 points, and Daughter received 48 points in fifth place. And then in sixth place already is Clara Hammarström, Beat of Broken Hearts. That to me was a big surprise. Again, this is not to bash on the song, because, it was right in my middle as well, but it's just something I didn't think was going to happen. So there was actually quite a good amount of support for Clara Hammarström, who got the second slot, which usually is reserved for the song where, probably not. And then Danny in seventh place with the televoters with Dandi Dansa. And I thought he would do a little better, but yeah, the song itself, I guess, didn't quite work for everyone. Charlotte Perrelli, Still Young, next in 28 points. Then Arvignana, 22 points. I'm not going to bother pronouncing the song because I will butcher it. I thought they're going to do a little better because it's the camp song of the year, I thought. And then Alvaro Estrella with 19 points. And then Anton Ewald, New Religion, 16. And Paul Ray got the least amount of points from the televote, a total of 7 points. Now, when you add all of these up, again, first Tusse, second Eric Saade, third Daughter. Did I miscount it? Oh, I'm wrong. No, someone updating it incorrectly here, I think. 106? I looked at the screen, I thought she got more. I could have been wrong. So forgive me. But anyway, so Daughter finished in third. I got it wrong. 105. The Mamas got 106. No, no, I'm right. They got third. Sorry. I looked at it incorrectly. So fourth, Daughter. Fifth place, if I'm not mistaken, then Clara Klingenström. That's still updating here. Sixth place, Clara Hammarström. So the two Claras back to back. Danny only in seventh place. Charlotte in eighth place. Arvignana in ninth. Alvaro Estrella in 10th, I think. Anton Ewald in 11th overall, of course. And then Paul Ray in last place with The Missing Piece. So didn't go quite as well for Paul as he has hoped, but he made it into the finals. I think that alone is already a fantastic result. So I would love to hear from you as well. Of course, I'm going to go back to my screen here to also answer to your thoughts and questions at ESC United in the chat. Let me know so I know what your thoughts are. So in terms of, I'm going for the running order real quick, and then I would love to hear from you as well. First, Danny's song, Dandi Dansa, was not my kind of song. He is very popular in the Melodifestivalen Swedish circle, so it was no surprise that he was going through it, but it wasn't my kind of song. The staging was amazing. I totally get it. It was all about dancing, but I don't think it was ever a contender for the win, and that's just how it panned out. As pointed out, Clara Hammarström, I'm very happy for her. I didn't think she was going to go that high in the juries and the televote. Sixth place, clearly well-deserved, because I think they put her there as she has no shot, so let's just give her the the slot of death, but she really pulled it off, and I think she should be very, very proud. And that just screams returning in the near future to Melodifestivalen, because she certainly delivered. So yeah, and then the third act of the night was Anton Ewald. The song was the biggest. If you watch my video, let's be honest here, I did my ranking, was my least favorite of the night. Um, it's just the kind of song that, like, okay, it's there was didn't evolve from anything that he has put forward the last time he took part. It's just not my kind of music, and the televoters and the juries kind of felt the same way in the end, so that didn't happen either. Now, the Mamas were my clear favorite. I knew that there was hardly any chance that they were going to make it. I'm very upset because they should have gone. I wish they would have been given the slot anyway. It was luckily my favorite song of the night, so I could at least would have been super surprised if they would have won. The fact that they finished second in the televote says something. I always knew there was going to be, at least to a certain extent, a sympathy vote, but it was also well liked, clearly. So don't forget about that. So it was still a very pleasant surprise to me. So also people are asking, these juries, how they consist. This is all international juries, as you see, each country, they just want, and the rules, how the juries will do it is basically, they kind of have also certain criteria and about which song would potentially do best at Eurovision. And so that is how they kind of made it all work out. So what was it? Oh, the Mamas. And then in the fifth song of the night was Paul Ray, The Missing Piece. Probably the biggest grow for me. Didn't really do much for me the first time I listened to it. It was the staging that I was really interested in. Sadly, he finished in last place. I don't think it deserved last place, to be honest. I thought that there were songs that were way less exciting, to me at least. So, yeah. Still Young by Charlotte Perrelli. Oh man, Schlager, we knew had no shot whatsoever. I'm glad that she got a good amount of points, both from the televoters and juries, to end up somewhere in the middle field, and I think she should be very proud, Charlotte. This was not going to win, but I love it anyway. I would have loved for Sweden to send something a little bit more Swedish, if that makes any sense, because Swedish lager I have a soft spot for. And then let's talk about the winner, Voices. And I need to hear from everyone in the chat at ESC United what your thoughts are, because I'm very happy for Tuesday. The Swedish people, the juries clearly thought this would be the best choice for Eurovision, and they liked it the best. I'm struggling with that song. I personally didn't realize that that the televoters would go that big for it. So clearly there must be something. Some of my members here on our forum at ESC United pointed out the media has been pushing hard for Tusse to win, so there was a lot of influence in that. So whether or not that is true, I cannot confirm. I don't live in Sweden, but I have a hard time wrapping my brain around the song and what it is that it makes it so special. To me, lyrically, very vague and somewhat predictable. Melodically, I cannot get into it. His voice doesn't really shine in that song. People tell me he's such an amazing singer, and I can understand that, but the song certainly does not highlight that. The staging was fairly simple to me. So it's one of those songs, I'm trying to think, if it would have been performed by someone with less of a push, would have that helped? Would have that still won? But that is just an honest question from me, because I would love to hear from people what you love about it at ESC United in the chat. And Jelly Official is saying, I loved his song. His performance was amazing. He did a great job, and I think he will do very well in Eurovision. His charisma makes it very special. It's very interesting, Jelly, because I don't get any of that. He didn't make as much connection with the camera as I wanted to. The song, very boring. But this is what I wanted to hear. That's how people feel about it. It's very interesting. Saka says, I actually loved it. Wasn't a fan of the studio version, but the live performance won me over. Interesting. It's just fascinating to me how it goes. Definitely. Robin says, Tusse is an amazing singer, but for me, there is something missing from the song. I see the jury's liking it, but not too sure with the televote. And that is true. You cannot necessarily translate the Swedish televote to the international televote, because we don't know Tusse. The people will not know who he is, his story, and all of that. So you can make a case. Could that be the next Benjamin Ingrosso situation? He still finished in seventh place, Benjamin, right? But we have to wait and see. World Sasuri is saying, I'm not personally a fan of Tusse's song, so but it's interesting to hear. So, yeah, that is personally how I feel about. But Baya Baya was never really an option to go far anyway. I think we all knew that. Wasn't my kind of song, so I'm not too surprised. Crystal is saying, by the way, I think Swedes wanted help Tusse since Swedes are very compassionate people. I'm pretty sure his past was a huge part. Crystal, that was one of the things I didn't want to just say because it seems like I'm being cold hearted by saying that. I could be, could be, but some people still like it. It's just very interesting to me because, yes, sometimes Sweden gets an unfair rep that people are being too harsh on their entries, right? Like, there is this weird relationship. But there is something weird to see that the international fan base is not quite as fond of it. So, not sure if that's telling. They were certainly more fond of John Lundvik. They were certainly more fond of not Mans Hansen. You know what I'm talking about. So this one certainly, I don't know if there's a disconnect. And Milombrion makes a very good point. Tusse is better than the song. Voices is so calculated, something missing. I think that is what I can say. From what I'm hearing, he has a good voice, though it didn't shine really in the song, but the song to me feels a little generic as well. But before we go back to voices, a big shout out to one of the sweetest songs in the running, Behöver inte dig idag. He knew it's not going to win, but the fact that it did so well in the televote, I think third, is just a wonderful thing. It made me so happy. Clara is such a sweet singer, and this was her first shot at Melodifestivalen and already won over so many hearts. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe 1 year, one day we'll get a song in Swedish again at Eurovision. I mean, if Denmark sends a song in Danish this year, why can't Sweden follow suit? My Swedish friends, what's going on? So I thought it was a very, very sweet song. So, yeah. But I knew it was going to win. Then Eric Sade, Every Minute, finished in second place overall, thanks to the juries. But in the televote, it only came fourth, which kind of like, isn't that what Sting ended up as well 4 years ago? So, it's very interesting. But the juries put that kind of music always so high, which this is something I will definitely maybe get some heat for it. I understand the staging. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people loved the song as well. But I'm always thinking, if this song would have been performed by an act from Croatia, would have received the same kind of hype? I don't know. I don't understand what the jury see in it, because it has all the recipes that they would usually criticize. Vocals, yes, the visual pack, like the slick and the perfect staging, maybe that is what they're going for. But lyrically, there's hardly anything there, right? Vocally, it's nothing impressive. It's visually great, and you can make a case it's catchy, right? But I'm still struggling with the whole why this received so much jury support. I thought it was going to be better in the televote. But was just me. So the fact that those two songs, Voices and Every Minute, the predicted betting odds, top two was a bummer for me. But hey, that's just how it goes. Little Todd, big Eurovision bubble favorite daughter for sure, very popular. And you saw that she was not happy when the points were announced, and she's like, did you pay attention to her facial expression? I was like, oh no, she is very upset. She tried hard, and I thought it was probably my second favorite third favorite, something like that. So, nobody will beat my mama's. But, yeah, she was definitely, not happy with the outcome. Still, it was a great result, a fourth place, right? But I have a feeling she may take a break from Melodifestivalen. Yeah. And then Tanker inte als geheim by Avignana was a surprise direct qualifier, and then kind of drowned a little in this. I thought going last and having its niche place would give them a little bit of a boost, but that didn't quite happen. Nevertheless, I thought it was enjoyable, but as much as I thought it was enjoyable, it wouldn't be the song that I would vote for. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I wish televoters would have an option to also rank the song rather than just vote for their favorites. I wish they could come up with something of that kind of thing, right? Someone saying in the chat, daughter said she won't return to Melodifestivalen. And keep in mind, a lot of people say that. Charlotte Pirelli said she will not return, and here she is. Ace Wilder said at some point she's not going to return, and she came back twice. So you just never know. It is emotional. It's an emotional night when your song doesn't do or deliver as much as you thought it would. So give it a year, and we'll see how it goes. I think Dada wasn't like even convinced she was going to do it this year. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. And I would love a ranked choice televoting. Lance Esgard is saying, I think so too. But I don't know how to do that. I guess you could do an online vote where you have to rank them. But I just feel as just voting for your favorites can often be a little But the same thing happens at Eurovision. Do you know what I mean? So, you never know how it goes. So, yes. So, Sweden, unfortunately, while I'm not necessarily going crazy over the song, clearly the Swedish people are. They like the song, and the juries feel as it would be the best choice. Therefore, I'm going to respect it, and I'm going to be happy for you, and I'm sure you're going to go do well. We all know that Sweden does well in the juries, and it comes down to whether or not the televote will follow suit. If they're going to do more of a Benjamin and Grosser, where it flops with the televoters, it's going to be more of a John Lundvik, where he does well, but not like super well. Or it's going to be more like a Manzamalo, where he's going to be in the top 3. That's where we have to see how it's going to turn out. This could be any of these 3 scenarios, because I don't know. It is, I understand, it isn't always easy to detach yourself from a song and its chances when you kind of fail to see the appeal. Like, there are songs sometimes where I'm like, I don't really care for it, but I see why people like it, right? Like, I can see Eric Sade's song being popular, even though I'm not into it. Voices, I'm just struggling where it is, but that's just one person. So, to be honest, we won't support it. Someone saying if it was Daughter, then 12 points to Sweden. That's how it goes. You cannot support all songs. There are 40 songs going to be in the running, and you cannot support them all equally. You can mentally support, because one thing we want to make sure, even when I say these things about the Swedish song Voices that I don't necessarily go crazy over, Tusse seems like such a sweet young man, and he clearly wants to represent his country and make him proud, and he loves what he's doing. So why would my personal lack of affinity towards the song affect my my approach to how I would treat or respect the artist? No, I would never do that. So I'm very happy for Tusse and happy for Sweden. They clearly are all on the same page here. Let's see some other comments in here. At Israel, how can you 3 to 9 count as much as 30 to 44 in Melodifestivalen? Makes no sense. 3 to 9 is, you mean like 13 to 19, or is there an age group voting 3 to 9? That doesn't sound right. Larkin3, let me know how that exactly works. Yeah, so let me I forgot what on Tusse is in semi 1 of Eurovision, and that is by many considered to be the more difficult semi. Not necessarily even, I'm not even based it on song quality. We're just based it on patterns, qualification patterns, and usually countries that put forward quality entries, because we have Australia in there. We have qualifies all the time so far. Russia, a big, always a contender. Sweden, obviously one of them. Azerbaijan. Cyprus has been powerful. Israel, always a force to be reckoned with. Norway, Romania, Ukraine. Granted, some of them have deflated a little bit. Romania didn't qualify for 2 years in a row. We had Azerbaijan and Russia non-qualification, so anything is possible, right? So by saying these are all guaranteed qualifiers, you're kind of being a little bit naive, to say the least. But yeah, it is certainly probably a more competitive semi. But I don't see Sweden struggling in any shape or form making it to the finals. The things that we need to look out for are, we have most of the songs now at Eurovision. Except in semi 1, we're missing Belarus. I'm going to talk about that in a second. They will put forward a new song from what we're hearing. So we're missing that one. We're still missing Azerbaijan, Effendi Matahari, and we are missing Malta. So Destiny's song will be released on the 15th, which is on Monday, probably the last one. So, yes, those three songs you have to kind of wait and see what they're going to put forward. In addition, we also know that Israel is going to actually put forward a revamped version of the song. I don't know if you can reinvent the wheel at this point, but maybe something will change. I know Russia will reduce some of the song as well, so you never know. Plus, we don't know the staging and what mood are people in, so anything is possible for Sweden. But if I had to put money down, I'd be a fool to be put money against it. I mean, it is Sweden. They only missed qualification once in 2010, and that was before they became like this powerhouse in the jury vote. Because remember, because we always talk about how Sweden is always the powerhouse in the jury loves it no matter what. That's what's saying. That's a subjective, of course. But it wasn't always that case. In 2010, it was the juries that kicked Sweden out of the top 10 because it wasn't the top 10 of the televoters. And then the juries were like, no, we don't like it. Similar thing happened with Popular, with Erik Saade. Erik Saade was a close second place in the televote to eventual winner Azerbaijan, but the juries put it a little lower. Not a horrible low, like 8th place or something like that. I don't remember quite. But certainly lower than the televoters, so they punished that one a little. And it wasn't until 2012 where they were consistently always ranking Sweden high. So that is definitely an interesting observation I wanted to share. So I guess we have to use former patterns on how to predict the outcome, and that I think makes sense. If you look at the international jury votes over the past years in Melodifestivalen, they have been somewhat spot on with what then the juries at Eurovision would vote, because I'm trying to remember right now, I'm going back real quick, when the last time was where the jury favorite did not win Melodifestivalen. Let's go back. So this year, Tusse, right? Last year we cannot count with the Mamas because, Eurovision was cancelled, so we'll never know. In 2019, John Lundvik won, didn't he get 12 points from every single juror? And then he finished second, initially first, in Eurovision jury votes, right? Then in 2018, we had Benjamin Ingrosso winning the jury vote in Melodifestivalen, and then coming in a close second in 2018 jury vote. In 2017, Robin Bengtsson actually wins the jury vote, didn't win the televote. I think he finished third, but then at Eurovision, the juries put Sweden in third place, and you keep going back and further back, and it's kind of like the same thing. 2017. So 2015, similar thing with months, right? It's just always seems to be that pattern. So maybe those who want Sweden to do well and want to support Tusse, this is maybe a decent sign for you. Granted, Tusse didn't win like the jury vote by a landslide, but nevertheless, he won it. So I do feel as this probably could have a good shot at it. So some other comments for the show, for Tusse, Melodifestivalen, in the chat at ESC United. Kian Valaf is saying, I'm not trying to be that guy, but I feel as a Sweden song is about Black Lives Matter. What? Belarus had to be disqualified because of a protest. I think Sweden should be disqualified or have to change the song as Black Lives Matter is a protest. There is nothing about that I associate with Black Lives Matter in there. So I don't agree with that at all. It's just, that is very much room for interpretation there. So no, I don't see it at all. And I don't know how you could draw reasonable parallels, or for the EBU to draw parallels to that are believable and reasonable. Even if you get that feeling from it, I don't think there is a good case to be made for that. That is just my opinion. But I understand if you feel that way, that's how you feel. I'm not certainly dismissing your opinion. I personally don't see it, and I don't see how the EBU could say, well, this feels like it could be Black Lives Matter, and it's just, it needs to be a little bit more specific. And It's not as the Swedish government put the song forward trying to push forward a certain agenda for Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? The Belarus situation is a very, very unique and specific scenario, which we can talk about in just a minute. So I want to make sure that we're not going to do those parallels there. Yeah, Sweden 2008 wouldn't have also qualified if it wasn't for the wild card by the jury. Someone is saying that's true. Going back to what I said about the jury vote, usually how it happens. In 2008, there was this thing. Those who've been around in 2008, that we only had televote in 2008. That was the last year. But in the semis, 9 of the 10 qualifiers were chosen by the televote, and one wild card from each semi was chosen by a jury. And Charlotte Perrelli Heroes was actually not in the top 10 of the televoters, so she wouldn't have even made it to the finals. But the juries decided out of the songs left, this was the best song, therefore she moved on to the final. So that's another point because she won the Melodifestivalen jury as well over Sanna Nielsen's Empty Room. I shouldn't be singing to you, I cannot sing. But yeah, that is definitely what is happening. Stefanos is saying, well, Clara got more televotes than Daughter. I was just talking about that, Stefanos. Yes, she got more votes than Daughter, and she got more votes than Eric Sade, right? So let that sink in. It just shows that just send a song that is genuine and you believe in and you can do well. Now, there's always the thing about the international juries, and let's talk about this. I'm a big proponent of juries at Eurovision. I've been very clear about it for multiple reasons. In a perfect world, I don't want juries, but we don't live in a perfect world because the televote is just as flawed, and I think that both flawed systems make it a little less flawed, if that, you know what I mean. So I definitely do not want to get rid of the juries at Eurovision. And I'm not saying we should get rid of the juries at Melodifestivalen either, but I'm just raising a point here. Do you think that an international jury is the way to go? Yes. You can absolutely make the case by saying that, hey, it's working. Whatever they pick ends up doing well at Eurovision. Absolutely. But it sometimes also drowns some of the favorites in Sweden. And the thing I don't like is that once the jury votes have been given, the public is still allowed to vote and therefore potentially get influenced by it. I'm like, oh, well, I really liked, I don't know, Anton Ewald's song, but he clearly has no choice, so I'll vote for my favorite, second favorite, Eric Sade, right? Because he still has a shot, or whatever it may be. So that I don't like. I also feel as the international jury at Melodifestivalen often drowns songs that are more traditional and a little bit Swedish. Do you know what I mean? And I do feel that creates a little bit a lack of diversity. And that is my biggest concern. And I don't know if you agree with that. I understand. You have to look at it. Do you only worry about winning, or not even winning, but doing really well at Eurovision? Or do you want to send something that is a little bit more like, okay, this is something that countries like, wow, something different, fun. For diversity reasons, I would have preferred that. That it would have been me. But that is my opinion. You don't necessarily have to agree with that. Stephen, and I'm not saying it should. It's just food for thought. Stephen Kendall is saying, Matt, Portugal would have had a more competitive song if they used international juries instead of local. Stephen Kendall, I think you make a good point there. But they would, I mean, the fact that Portugal allows songs in English now is already way too radical for, a lot of these. So I think one step at a time, I think we're going to see that. Crystal is saying, Tusa kind of sad to Weeby Blocks that it's not a political song and it's not a political person and he's not about BLM, so just clarifying. Thank you, Crystal, for clarifying. I would have never drawn those parallels. No. So I get what they're saying. And Jelly is saying, Tusa got 12 points from every age group, by the way. Okay, as I said, I mean, he won the televote by landslide, so that doesn't surprise me. I mean, there's no way he wouldn't have. So, as said, Sweden wants Tusa. I just don't like the song. But that's just how it goes. There are plenty of other songs that I really like, and I'm sure Sweden at some point will return with a different song. Also, I would like to hear about your thoughts on Krista Björkman. Krista Björkman has been the executive producer of Melodifestivalen for many, many years. I forgot how long back, but he certainly was in charge of Melodifestivalen when Lorraine won in 2012 and Mans Zelmerlöw in 2015. And now, this was his last year. He's moving on to other things. He's actually going to work on the America Vision Contest, which is now set to premiere next year. We can talk about that as well. So he is moving away. So, do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? And do we see some new changes coming in? Or will the people who taken over just keep it as it is? What's not broken, don't fix it. Krista Björkman certainly has made a lot of change and brought a lot of change to the contest, a lot for the better. I think it became, I mean, it's always been slick, and he brought it, made it current, made it relevant, made it culturally relevant, because people still watch it like crazy. And it's modern, and it's fun, and it's slick, and it is done so well. I like how, I mean, he experimented around with the point system, how they're going to do the Melodifestivalen, and it seems as they have settled into something that is working, and I kind of like the way the point system works now at Melodifestivalen. But maybe we get some new insight into how things are going, and you can also make a case. Certain things I didn't like what Christian Björkman introduced. I hate the whole recorded backup vocals, because we have singers in this semi as well, in this final as well, and in other shows that just aren't good singers, and they don't have barely to do anything because they are being covered by the backtrack. I always hated that. I was never a fan of the running orders. I mean, that stuff. So there are certain things, and it seems as they're always pushing for certain acts, and it's getting a little too obvious, right? I mean, look at the running order in each semi. It's like, why even bother at this point? Just make it a one big final show, because the ones that you want to go through usually end up in the finals anyway. So it seems a little bit too production involved to me, the show at times, and I wish it would be a little less like that and it becomes more of a fair competition. But that is just my personal observation. He has done a lot of good stuff to the show as well, so I don't want to just be like wah, 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 wah. But I do think that I hope that with some fresh blood in it, it will be something. Maybe they can do some different things here. That would be my hope. It was interesting. He got to like co-host all these shows, kind of celebrate his involvement. Some of the things were like fun, but some like that's a little self-indulgent. But I guess maybe he deserves it. I don't know. And that's the thing. I'm talking here as a foreigner, right? I don't live in Sweden. I don't live the culture day by. I spend a lot of time in Sweden, but I never like lived there. So I certainly don't quite. Claim that I understand what people like to watch, and I think this is the kind of stuff that they enjoy. So yeah. Alexander is saying, I think the international jury should be scrapped. It should be the decision of the country, and do you really think these international care about how Sweden do at Eurovision? Alexander, I agree with you. I mean, I prefer probably more like local juries. Here's the thing. Juries at Eurovision are a different story than juries in a national final. And I'm not even against juries in a national final, but when you bring in internationals just for the sole purpose of determining what they may like, it seems takes a little bit flavor away from the song selection rather than having local representation, right? That is my personal opinion, of course, and yes, you can make a very strong case saying, hey, but the international juries did such a good job picking good or winners that ended up doing really well at Eurovision. And yes, if that's your sole mission, by all means, then it works. But I think that's one of the reasons why there is always this relationship that some of the fans have with Swedish songs, because the songs often seem by the numbers, slick, polished, perfectly executed. And then, it feels a little less exciting. That's, I think, why a Clara Klingenström song was kind of like almost fresh of breath air. It's like, ooh, this seems just like a girl standing there, la 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 la. I'm singing a song with my guitar. There's no flashing lights, no dancing, no fireworks, nothing. And it was really, 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 really how I feel. But that is just, what I'm saying. Hi, Matt. This is Boris here. I'm jumping in to say that I'm so happy with Tussa winning. Sad that none of your favorites made it, but at least Clara finished. Sorry, none of my favorites made it. But this is like the story of my life. I have to look at all the national finals and see where my favorites actually succeeded. I mean, there were a few, but we didn't have that many national finals this year because, we had so many internal selections. So, yeah. Huh. But that's just how it goes. So Chalpon is saying international juries fill their function. After all, it's a competition. Why would you not make sure your entry works? That's exactly the point you can make that I raised. You can make that point. It's just I like I like slick songs. Don't get me wrong. I like slick, polished songs when they're done right. It just I guess it's just a kind of music that Sweden sends forward over the past years. Although I love John Lundvik's song, and the Mamas I loved as well. So for 2 years, they sent really good songs that I enjoyed. So I've got a little spoiled by Sweden, I guess. But that is just me. I love the Mamas, but in my opinion, they made the mistake to change their songwriting team from last year's song. I mean, why change a successful team? Well, it's a good point that you can make, but at the same time, can you recreate the magic? It's very, very difficult to recreate that moment that was created with the last team. So I understand that sometimes you need to evolve as an act. You want to try something different. If you want to be a copycat of the prior year, by all means, be an Anton Ewald. Okay, I'm being mean. But you know what I mean. It is just kind of like that. So this is what we have. We have Tusse for Sweden at Eurovision. And I am curious as I am talking here. I pushed the wrong button. Why am I bad at pushing buttons? Because I'm using my iPad. But my point is, I wanted to see if the odds have changed. Has anyone checked that? I can look that up right now. It's just not working. I need my hands. But Sweden usually, when the favorite wins, the betting odds work in their favor and they go up quite a bit. Janita is saying, from a media perspective, both Tusse and Tix Norway got most media attention arranged by the host channel, the admin of Melodifestivalen MGP. It was easy to see who would win in both. And Janita, you bring up a very good point that I didn't think about, is the whole Norway circumstances, right? In case you didn't pay attention to Norway, the fan favorite in the Eurovision community was Kaino with Monument. And I'm being very careful with the way I phrase it. It is the Eurovision fan base mostly online because nobody else really watches the Norwegian national final. But Tix became such a big star in Norway and he was all over the media and he won with a pretty decent margin the national final with Fallen Angel. A lot of fans are saying it is inferior to Monument and that Monument would have done a whole lot better at the contest. And that's the reason is the media coverage gave him that edge or just his prominent role right now in the Norwegian media. And you can maybe draw parallels to Tusse. I don't know. I don't know if that is accurate because, again, I don't live in these countries. I don't have any exposure, so I just have to listen to what you guys are telling me. So, but I can see where this could be happening, and I don't think that would be necessarily a Sweden or Scandinavian kind of thing because I remember in Germany, the national finals 10 years ago or more, they always had these acts like No Angels had a terrible song by most standards, and there were beautiful songs in the national final, but since they were all about the media and just had the big comeback, everyone just voted for them because they knew them, and it really sucked. And that kind of stuff happens quite a bit. Germany also loves a great underdog, I've learned for the years. And it's a similar situation, I think, with Sweden. I think it's maybe just a natural thing. I love underdogs. Who doesn't love a good underdog? So I think, and the story that Tusse had, he came from the Republic of Congo, right? And by himself. The parents didn't go with him. And that was quite a touching story. But again, I was never really a person that get touched by stories when it comes to a competition. Just like the whole American Idol shows, which I hate. When they're like, this is a singer and she slept in the car and he's here and he had to miss his daughter's birth so he can perform here. I'm like, that's not a good thing. That is a bad thing. Go back and be with your family. But the point is, those stories don't affect me. They're trying to get an emotional reaction and response from you. and it doesn't quite sit well with me. Also, quick shout out if you watched the SVT live stream in English, Olivia and Bella, two friends of mine. Olivia was part of ESC United for several years, from 2014 to 16 actually. Then she moved on working for the BBC, big shot. But I love her dearly, so I'm so glad that we had some representation tonight. She's insanely talented, and I'm happy that she got to do that. And Bella is such a sweet girl. She interviewed me in Stockholm, and I ran into and we talked in Lisbon. So she's a wonderful person as well. So I couldn't have been more happy for these two individuals actually doing it. So yeah. So that is basically what's happening. So we get, let me go back here. Actually, we have a few more songs coming up. I pointed out already. Let's go for them real quick. So we have all the big five in there, so we can skip those. So we got Latvia, we get Iceland tonight, right? 10 years. I'm not sure if it's out already. I have not listened to it. Don't tell me anything. La 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 la. I got to do a reaction video to it. I know that a snippet of it has leaked already a few days ago. That is not good. I hate leaks, and you can see the team was very upset about it. It really hurts the artist, and I refuse to listen to snippets or leaks in any shape or form for that reason. Plus, I need to do reaction videos where I can. So that is certainly one that was really high in the betting odds, and because he was super popular last year. Question is, can he keep up the momentum, or is the song inferior? Based on popular opinion, we'll find out soon enough. Who else is missing? Semi 1 is complete. Semi 2 is complete. Right? Okay. That is good. So Malta, Destiny. They have been so quiet until the very last minute. There was very little promotion. Destiny didn't put any music forward. It was really odd that they didn't try to use all that time to do some promotional work. It's like, did she go to jail or something? I don't know what happened with. But now we get the song on Monday at least. They're either going to have a banger or it's going to be disappointment. I feel like there's not going to be a whole lot of middle room because we wait until the last minute. So you save the best for last, or you get these expectations up high and you're kind of like, oh. So that is a concern as well of mine, but we shall see. Yeah, Belarus. That is, Azerbaijan also. Matahari will come out shortly, so get ready for that one as well. Belarus, we all know what happened there, right? So they sent us a song, which I'm not going to repeat the name, and I said I'm not going to do any coverage. If this song stays in the running, since it's not, I'm okay talking about it again. But as we know, the song was a very controversial song, and finally the EBU agreed this song cannot, under any good conscience, be put forward in a contest. Georgia, people talking about Georgia. Georgia is not out as well either. Thank you for that. There was like a clip out there as well, I heard, but I didn't watch it. So Georgia, you're right. Georgia is the one that I forgot about. Georgia is not out yet. I just looked at the titles of the song. So Tanika with You is the last one from Semi 2 to be released. But anyway, to go back to Belarus. Belarus said actually that, I'm not going to read the entire statement because why bother, but basically they will put forward a new song. Whether it's going to be the same band or something else, that remains to be seen. But Belarus, the president, most certainly wants to be in Eurovision and wants the country to be in Eurovision. I thought that potentially that Belarus would withdraw, kind of more like a statement, like, you don't like this song, it is superior, screw you, we're leaving, right? That did not happen. Apparently from what they're saying, it will not happen. So if we believe the news coverage, Belarus will send a new song, and most likely will be less political. Now, we can still make the case, should Belarus be in Eurovision in the first place? That's going to be a long conversation. If you want to know, you can ask, but I don't know if I want to open that Pandora's box, because how can you close that? Yeah. So that is what's going on. What else is going on in the news? I haven't checked Eurovision news all day today, and I'm bringing them up right now here because I have like my news feed here. The song for Iceland is out, so I will listen to that. Yeah, nothing else has happened, I think, significantly besides what's going on right now. So keep in mind, all the songs that are still out need to be submitted to the EBU by early next week, I think. That doesn't mean necessarily they're all going to be released. The EBU needs to have them, but it is rare that acts hold on to them for much longer than that. So for the most part, early next week is when we should have all songs, unless something crazy is going on. So yes, that is the news that we have for today. Now, ask away at ESC United. Let's talk. Let's just make this a really fun conversation. Just talk back and forth at ESC United. I want to thank everyone, by the way, for your support. And I will have more people on the live stream. I need a new computer, or I need better software. I don't know what it is, but every time I bring on someone on the live stream, my CPUs, my server response is so slow and it starts lagging. So I couldn't have any guests on today, but I hope I will do everything I can to bring Sean and James and Roy and all of them back, so we can have more of a dialogue rather than just me talking. So right now, since it's just me, let's talk a little more. Excuse me. Jokase, are you starting to warm up to Italy? Please say yes. Yes. No. Listen, I actually recorded a reaction a few days ago. I just didn't have time to upload it. It wasn't a high priority, because why would I upload a video where I know I'm going to get shite on? I can't with that song, unfortunately. But I still love Italy as a country, obviously. I've been there and gotten several times now, and I want them to win. It would be just sad if they win Eurovision with a song that I'm not crazy about, when I was crazy about every single of their songs for the past God knows how many years. So that would be kind of like, really? That would not be cool. Based on the songs so far, which semi do you think is the strongest, hardest to qualify from? Green Oscar, as I mentioned just a minute ago, just based on competitiveness, I would say still the first one I would put as the more threatening semi, a more difficult semi, just because of the big hits that are in the that semi. In addition, you kind of want to look at also who are they with. You know, one thing the country often is being overlooked is Lithuania. Lithuania, a small country, right? But their friendly voting is out of this world. Like, they get so many votes. They have Norway. I mean, yes, they don't have Latvia and they don't have Estonia, which are like traditional ones, but they have so many support in Scandinavian countries, in the UK, in Ireland. So they're going to get points from Ireland. They're going to get points from Norway. The UK isn't voting in this one, right? So they're not going to get points from the UK for this one. But Lithuania is often a song that's often overlooked by the odd people, only because, you know, they don't think of these little things about, in televotes, the Lithuania goes often really, really far. Just like the last time, 2019, even though Running with Lions didn't qualify, it was this close because it was super high in the televote, but mostly because due to, those 12 10-pointers that came from specific countries. Similar case you can make for other countries, like Serbia gets a lot of 12-pointers just for being Serbia. So that often gives them a big head start. Russia, obviously. You don't have to even bring them up. But in terms of who I think is a little bit more, I still go with Semi 1. I think Semi 2 has actually some countries there that have not been done so well, haven't done so well in the past, could actually be power players. San Marino, right? Switzerland for the second year in a row could be a big player. Finland, not really like known for being like, woohoo, we're here. Could absolutely surprise. So those songs could absolutely. And then some of the other ones, it seems more competitive there in terms of like, I would hate having to do a prediction in Semi 2 right now, because there's a lot more what's going to happen. I have to sit down and look at who is in the Semi and how some of the votes could potentially play out. Okay, more questions at ESC United. Billy the Extinguisher. I need to find my Billy the Extinguisher picture. Is it safe to say that you are rooting for San Marino to win, even if they aren't your favorite? I'm legally required to root for them to win. I think we all are, even if you hate the song. Every one of you has to legally root for them to win. Now, seriously, I mean, I love the song, so it would not be a shocker, but yeah, how cool would that be? Although, San Marino's not going to host it, right? We all know that. Would it be given to Italy by default? I think the EB would be like, sure, Italy, it's been a long time, you can have it. I know there would probably be some kind of bidding process that usually comes into play, where certain countries would put forward like a bid to the EBU, and the EBU would then pick one. But I'm pretty sure they'll give it to Italy. Stephen Candle, did Vasil's song make you cry off camera, Stephen? No, it didn't make me cry. It touched me because the story was very touching, and unlike a lot of people, I actually really liked the song. But it wasn't a song that I would. It's not like I cry over everything. Every year, it seems like I almost plan it, but it's really not the case. That's one thing that gets me emotional. This year, it was Portugal that didn't pick the song, so therefore, I mean, Portugal did, but the juries didn't. Therefore, I don't have to worry about that. Netherlands touched me. I cried a little. Then Germany in 2018. Last year, who was it last year? Was it Italy? I don't think I cried last year. Did I cry last year? I don't even remember. It's hard to keep track of all of that. But yeah, of course I would root for San Marino. It would be so awesome. Okay, so San Marino is the entry for Turkey. Huh? I don't get that statement, Pizza. Sorry, I'm just reading statements put at me at ESC United. Do you think you're going to Rotterdam, Kyle? That's a good question, and that is a difficult question at the same time. I think most likely the answer is no, unfortunately. And I there are going to be about 1,500 journalists every year for Eurovision, right? I'm one of them, but only a third, only about 500 are allowed on location. So I don't think that they will give what they refer to as fan media a priority. I would think they give it to the Dutch media, a lot of them, maybe some internationals, but then you get the BBC and other broadcasters, like the big names, the big shots, right? And we are just an afterthought there. So I most likely will. I mean, I will get press access, but I will most likely not be given local access. So most likely I will not be there, unfortunately. But it's not 100%, but I'm leaning towards probably not. And so I'm saying fan media, it does most of the job. Untitled Girl, that's the only thing I'm hoping out for, that that they will consider that, because we're the ones that's going to be there for the whole 2 weeks and provide coverage from the first day to the very last day, while the big media and the local media just comes in the second week when all the big shows are happening. So we serve a very important role. But then again, there are other fan media that probably would get prioritized over me. So I don't know. And I'm just guessing here right now. So I don't know. I'd love to go, but if I get the option, I will. But because the cool thing is here, I cannot speak for Europe, but here in America, those who pay attention to American news, our president Biden said that everyone here in the U.S. will be vaccinated by May 1st. So that is before Eurovision. So I will most certainly get vaccinated before I leave, or would leave for Eurovision. So that is super exciting for me. So that would be great. And if I get that, then I would fly in a heartbeat. Absolutely. And I'm a big mask fan anyway, so I would never ever cheat the system. I'm all about wear mask, be safe. So I am definitely the right candidate, but we shall see. ESC United, talking about the Idol competition. I remember that there have been stories where it is told that someone came to audition, but because of auditioning to the competition, the person lost job. I'm not a idol person per se, so I don't know, but I could assume that people go to auditions and make a fool of themselves and make the company look bad so they get fired. That is part of a job. Like if you misrepresent the company or you call in sick to go to audition, yeah, you get fired. If I, say I'm calling in sick for work and I'm going to do some other thing, no, of course, it makes perfect sense. Not perfect sense, but that's just how it goes. It depends on the circumstances, of course. Vasa is saying, are you going to make a list of what songs you want or think we'll get out of each semi? We will definitely do something of that sort, yes. Now, I'm debating if we should do just one with the readers, or should our team do it, or just myself. I don't know. I haven't really thought that through. But those videos are spicy. Oh man. Oh, you don't even know. Every time anything where I leave out a country from like a top 10, you get bombarded, man, by so many people. Could you imagine if I say, I don't think Romania will qualify. The Romanians would come after me, and I'm using one random country here, of course, or Cyprus, whatever. That would be yeah. That would be a dangerous thing. But yeah, we'll do something in something to that effect. Matthew said, "Amen to the vaccines. I got my first shot on Tuesday. 100 million in the US have gotten their first shots already, open to everyone by May 1st. I'm jealous, Matthew. Okay, this is a terrible thing to say. Unfortunately, I'm not old and I don't have any pre-existing conditions, so I'm like the worst can. Like I'm like on the last list. I'm too young. I'm not sick enough, so I'm the last one in line. But it's fair and it makes sense. So I get it. But my city, I live in Long Beach, California. Our mayor, our city is doing a phenomenal job. California is doing great, and we are ahead of the schedule. So we are already vaccinating people 65 and up, all healthcare workers, all people that work in restaurants, all people that have diabetes, all people with existing conditions. So it's just going so fast. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm very hopeful. If you leave Cyprus out of your top 10, church, there will be support. There will support your channel. Oh, the church will support my channel. Oh, the Cyprus thing where the church was very upset that the song is called El Diablo, that this singer from Cyprus, Elena She, is worshiping the devil. Context, people. Context! So yeah, that is funny. Next question. At ESC United. I'm just going to do a few more minutes since, we have such a nice conversation. Do we have a winner? Well, there are only 5 or 6 songs left. 5 songs, right? So the odds are we've heard the winner. But unless we get like the winner from one of the remaining countries, I would not be able to tell you who. I think this is going to be a little bit more difficult. Kind of like last year. That year that never happened. But there was not like a standout favorite, right? Bulgaria was high up, Lithuania, Iceland, Russia. They all were like going up there. There was no clear favorite like Netherlands was, or even Israel was in 2018 until rehearsals when Cyprus took over. But you get my point. There were always like very clear favorites usually. Right now, I don't see that, but it makes it more fun and much more entertaining. Is it funny that other years, if someone says bad things about San Marino song, then everybody would be like, same, but this year everyone would be like hating their reactor. It's a crazy world. I honestly, people love reaction videos. It's not even my favorite thing to do. I know people like, because I feel as I always have to be like, I wish I had more time to analyze them and think it through. But I do know at the same time that I'm just by nature a very animated person. And I'm a very excitable person. I remember in Tel Aviv, I forgot the name. Why is the name coming to me? When we were in Tel Aviv, the old town, a grown ass man, running around like a little child, screaming like, "Oh my God, can you see this? This is amazing. I've never seen anything like it before." I get so excited, and I guess it makes for good reaction videos. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't even have that much insight right now. So it's really weird. But yeah. I said something about live stream. What are your plans for live streaming until and including Eurovision? Julie, we will live stream every single weekend. Every Saturday for sure. I'm trying to think if we can squeeze in some more for fun, but I don't know if there's much interest because this is after this weekend. A lot of people kind of be like, we're going to take a little Eurovision break until rehearsals kick off again. So, but we, just like every year, we always have live streams at least once a week. At least once a week. So, what expectations do you have about Malta, Waylon? I'm hoping, last year, I've always kept saying about Destiny, Diva deserves a better song. Because I thought it was a good, solid song, but it didn't. It was jury favorite, but not fan favorite. I think that she needs a song that really gets the masses going. So I hope they learn from it, but I don't know. I have reasonable expectations. If they send something like last year, it would be fine. It was a good, solid song. I just don't think it was a winner song. And I would be worried it's going to be a similar situation what they had in 2016 with Ira Losco. Very popular with the juries, but the televoters maybe not so much. And I'm hoping for something a little bit more accessible. That would be my opinion. All right. What do you think how they will select people with tickets will go to Eurovision? Because I don't think everyone can go. And what do you think will happen to the remaining tickets? So, just in regards to the ticket situation, excuse me, I gotta drink my hint water. It's not a sponsored video, but I'm just giving free promotion here. The what was the question? Oh, the tickets. Well, everyone got a refund for the tickets. And everyone that got a refund for the tickets, they're now in a holding pattern that they may be able to buy tickets again if any of them will become available. We won't know until like mid-April probably how many tickets, if any, will be available. So I think from what I'm hearing, it's more like first come, first serve out of those who previously bought tickets. So if there were 10,000 people who bought tickets, those 10,000 people may be able to grab some of the ones that will be in there. So if there are 2,000 tickets, those 10,000 will battle it out. There will be some exceptions probably, but it's a similar situation what you usually have with tickets, first come, first serve, except they're now an exclusive club. I never bought tickets. The last time I bought tickets was in 2015. I prefer to be in the press room anyway. I usually go. The nice thing is, as press, again, this year may be a difference. We do get to watch the first dress rehearsal, so like go into the arena and watch it. So that totally works for me. So some people are saying you're not answering my question. Keep in mind, I try, but there are so many questions coming. So at ESC United, and they will be answered. What's your opinion about American Song Contest? When I heard that America copies Eurovision, I was kind of shocked, but now I'm interested how it ends up. So, to give some context on that, Christian Bjorkman for the past few years has been working with American channels, production teams, lawyers on a concept for America Vision, which is basically a American version of Eurovision. I'm sure they will with like different shows like local shows, semi-shows, grand final shows, and this is what Christian Bjorkman, who is now leaving Melodifestivalen, is going to put most of his effort towards. And it is planned to come out in 2022. I think it was initially planned to be this year, but with COVID, obviously, that all was slowed down. So hopefully next year, we shall see if that's when that come to fruition, but there's certainly a lot of work behind it. Now keep in mind, people are saying, ugh, it's a copycat of Eurovision, da-da-da-da-da, whatever. Keep in mind, Eurovision is basically a copycat of Sanremo Festival. And we didn't put poo on that back then, right? Brand's been over 60 years. So just because the other option would be, do you want America at Eurovision? I don't think so. So let them have their own contest. We get more music. I feel as there's a little less resistance when it comes to the Asia Vision concept that people were trying to push. Then people were okay with that, but with the America version, they're not. So no, I'm all in favor. Bring the concept to other places, but make it their own culturally relevant show. America is very different from Europe, right? In many ways. A lot of things we're alike, but in many ways we're different as well. I'm like a hybrid between those two. So yes, I'm all in for it. Okay, Isaac, he posted like 15 times now. What do you think about Tussa's chances in Eurovision, juries, and televote? And do you think he'll change the staging? The first question is, I don't know. I mean, Tussa will do really well in the jury vote. I think we all know that. I think top 5 bare minimum, probably top 3. In terms of televote, this is where I'm the biggest question mark. There seems to be less of an excitement with the international fans about that song, which often is not an unreasonable representation. A similar thing happened with Benjamin Ingrosso, who kind of flopped with the televoters. Overall, still 7th place. I mean, that's not floppage. So I think Tussa will do well overall. I think he's a pretty safe top 10 in Eurovision, just like every year Sweden is. And I just don't know about the televoters. In terms of staging, they usually don't change much, right? Certainly not over the I'm trying to remember the last time. 2013 was when they changed the staging a little bit, right, for Robin Stjernberg. So other than that, they usually stuck to what they know. So I don't think they're going to change it a whole lot. The song, I mean, what can you do with that song? It's, I mean, yeah, funny lights. I don't know. But I think they're going to leave it very, very similar. Olivia's asking, can you predict any running orders? How? All right, I cannot predict. Okay, let's look at the first semifinal. In the first semi, we have, well, we don't know what Belarus was going to send. Let's just keep them out of the loop for now. I don't see Ireland opening it. I don't see North Macedonia opening it. Russia will not open it. Slovenia will not open it. and Sweden will not open it. So that leaves Australia, Lithuania. I think it will be Australia or Lithuania. There are a lot of ballads in this semi, I just realized, in that half. At this point, I would think Australia or Lithuania will open it, potentially Belarus, depending on what song they're sending. But I don't think I think they're going to put Belarus somewhere like third or so. So my money is on Australia or Lithuania. How do you guys think? Am I doing good? Am I getting this wrong? That would be my guesses. So that would be my guess. And Australia and Lithuania, they haven't opened the show, at least not in a long time. I mean, now they have at some point, but no, Australia hasn't. But I know Lithuania had in 1999, but I think that was the last time. No, they had it done before. But anyway, not in a while. That's my point. I think that would be the opener. In terms of the closing song, it's Malta, we don't know yet. And Azerbaijan, we don't know yet. So that's a little bit more tough, but looking at the songs that are still in the running, I would say it could be one of the two remaining songs. I could see Croatia closing it, or Cyprus at this point. That would be my guess. So, people seem to be agreeing with my prediction. Like Australia, first guess is a good guess, I say. Someone says Lithuania, probably opener. Australia, fifth. I agree with that as well. Whoever goes, because there are so many ballots, again, we don't know Belarus yet, that whoever opens the show, the other upbeat song will be like fifth or sixth or something like that. I can see that happening. So that makes it, so whoever gets first, the other one will be fifth or sixth, I would assume. I mean, no, Russia is also upbeat. But Russia is just not an opener. You know what I mean? They want to have a song that's like gets people going and interested and is safe to a certain extent, right? Russia is a little bit like, what? And so I don't think that would happen. So Russia could also be in there somewhere. But yeah, that would be my thinking. But that would be my guesses for the first half. But you know what? Well, I don't think it's going to be Cyprus. People saying Cyprus may close it, but Cyprus just closed it a few years ago. Maybe they'll put it last again. Could be, but I would think maybe they're going to put a country that hasn't been last in a while. I'm not sure how far deep they go into that thinking. I know they wouldn't do back to back, but yeah, because Eleni Ferreira, she closed her semi, right? I think she did. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, that would be very embarrassing because I know that should know that kind of stuff. But there's so many songs. Now let's go to the second semifinal, first half. Out of the first half, all songs are known, right? And the first half, this is I don't know what to do. All I know is Austria will not be opening the show. The first half is only one true ballad, which is Austria. Vincent Bueno's Amen. So Amen will be somewhere in between, probably like fifth or sixth. Estonia will not open it. All the others, I could see opening it. I know we got Iceland. Iceland, we don't know yet. So out of the ones that we know, Czech Republic could open it. Moldova could be opening it. Potentially Poland, San Marino, Serbia, all of them. This one's a tougher. This is a tough one. But I think Serbia feels like an opener to me. Serbia feels like an opener to me. But again, didn't Serbia just open it a few years ago as well? In 2017, I want to say. Estonia is not an opening. So people like Estonia would be an. I don't think Estonia is too dark. They'd like to open songs that are a little bit more happy, warm feelings, right? Estonia has a little bit more of a dark feel to it. I don't think they want to go be like. Ooh. They will go with something more cheerful like Serbia, potentially San Marino, but San Marino could be actually last in the running order in this one because it's so popular. But it could also be an opener because opening is not a bad situation. Moldova could be another good opener as well. So they'll be my guesses. So Estonia is too dark. And Benny Christo's song Czech Republic, I can't even say, it doesn't feel like an opener to me. But it could open. It's a possibility. It just doesn't feel right. Greece will not open it. It is not quite as the kind of song that screams opener to me. Now, in terms of the second half, who will close it? Closing can often be could be a little slower, but Denmark could actually close it. That seems like a closer to me. In Melodifestivalen would be a closer because they usually put the campy songs usually last. You kind of end on a campy note. So I could see Denmark closing it actually. Potentially Latvia closing it as well. Yeah, so that'll be my guesses. Closer could be Denmark, Finland potentially, but maybe that's too much as a closer, but could be. Or Latvia. That'd be my guess. They could go with a ballad, but I don't think they will because they have more upbeat songs in the second half, and they have to spread out the ballads a little bit. Um, Although no, I'm lying. This is Albania is a mid-tempo song, right? It's ballady-ish, but not quite. Bulgaria is a ballad, obviously. I think Georgia is a ballad, right? From what I'm hearing, but I'm not sure. I haven't listened to it yet. Portugal and Switzerland. So we have four. Like it's half actually. So I don't know. Switzerland could close as well, I guess, but I don't know. And one of the things that's true, Latvia was chosen as the closer last year, right? If I'm not mistaken, Samantha Tina. So her song is in the same kind of spirit in her last year's effort. So I could see this one closing it again. Just to feel, though. Just to feel. If you could go to every Eurovision there has been, to which year would you go to again? Kyle Koala is saying, oh, easy one. Easy peasy. 1956. I want to go to the very first one to experience it. Number 2, rip the piece of paper out of the jury's hands so I can see the actual results of 1956. In case you don't know what it is, those who don't pay attention to Eurovision history, in 1956 we only knew the winner. All the judges wrote down stuff and then they threw it in a paper and got rid of it. So if I could go back, I would just go in time, get the paper and find out who finished in second place and third and fourth. That would be the one. That's a good question, though. I love that one. You see that if Turkey participated, what genre would you want to hear? Oh gosh, I'm so predictable. You know what we want to hear from Turkey. I want to get every way that I can kind of music. But again, I love Eurovision because sometimes you get local sounds, culturally relevant music, that you don't hear in other countries. At the same time, I don't want to stereotype and pigeonhole people like that either. So you should send what you think is great. But I would love to have, that kind of music that we miss so dearly at Eurovision. I feel like San Marino is kind of filling the gap this year for that. That's why people gravitating towards it, because people love that kind of music, right? Do you think Kazakhstan will join ESC in the next years? I would love to see Dimash represent them. He has the best voice on the planet. I've been very vocal, big proponent of Kazakhstan joining Eurovision, and it will happen. I know it will. The question is just when it'll happen. Um, let, but yeah, I want them in. That's just the quick answer. Matt, do you think that 2020 hype could influence 2021 voting? Do you think that people voting more for the returning act than for the new song? Short answer, no. Where did I put my water? Oh, I put it on the floor. Short answer is no, I don't think so. The vast majority of people did not watch. I mean, people watched Love Shine a Live, but there was such a short representation of the act. So most people that will watch don't know who was the big hype in 2020. So no, it'll have very little to no impact. Maybe some within the fan community, yes, but it certainly won't be enough to leave a dent in the votes overall, I think. Next one. Do you think a Big Five country will close the final like recent years? And if yes, which country? So Spain closed in 2019. Who closed in 20? Italy in 2018. In 2017. Who closed in 2017? France, you're right. And in 2016, it was Armenia. That was not a Big Five. So, but the last 3 years we had a Big Five. That is true. Well, it comes down to who will be drawn into the second half. I could see the UK song being a good closer. So I could see if the UK is being drawn to the second half, I could see the UK closing it. Am I off? Germany will not close it if the second half, only because it is a little bit too out there. But UK, I could see. Italy is too loud to be a closer, I think. France is too quiet to be a closer. Spain is too quiet to be a closer. So if one of them, it would be UK. I just watched a video from Easter night in 2013 where you are, and I can say that you haven't changed from back then. Oh, well, thank you. It's only 8 years. 2013 was the first year I attended as press. I've been to Eurovision before in 2011, but 2013 was the first year I actually went out there and did press. And I have a lot of good memories. My favorite memories, in case you care, was in 2013 watching Valentina Monetta giving a concert. I was invited to the San Marie's delegation party, and there were some acts performing, I think, but Valentina gave a concert and she just sang her music and she was in her element and she was so good. She sang a jazz version of her entry that year, Chrysalide, and it was amazing. And just being there, the food and the people, it was such an amazing experience. Um, that was probably my favorite moment, although there were some other really cool moments there, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, thanks for. Now I'm traveling down memory lane. Every year you have something else as a favorite moment, but that was definitely my 2013 favorite moment. Um, my least favorite moment, by the way, in 2013 is because I was in the green room in 2013. If you may recall, in 2013, because it was a smaller arena, they put them in a separate room, so each delegation was able to hand out some tickets to the green room, like a little audience area. So I was sitting there, and I was right behind like San Marino, because that's who gave me the ticket. Then Switzerland, North Macedonia, and some other country. Anyway, the corner I was sitting in, nobody qualified. It was so terrible. I was like, oh my god, all the people on the other end, they're celebrating, and I was just the pity corner. I was like, Zach, we gotta get out of here. It's so depressing. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted here. It's just a very fun memory there. I could go for every year and tell you that. Matt, do you think that with San Marino accomplished this year, it may bring another microstates back in? Well, let's not celebrate too soon. Let's not count our chicken until they hatch. They could flop. I'm so nervous. I don't want to get too excited about it. I mean, they sent quality, and I want San Marino to do really well. Not just for the sake of it being a good song or because I love San Marino to pieces, but it would send a message. Because countries like Luxembourg and Monaco, they're like, we are never going to do well because we're a micronation. Which is kind of silly because Iceland is smaller than Luxembourg in terms of population, but I digress. So that alone would hopefully give them a little bit more of an boost. But then again, I thought Austria winning Eurovision would bring Slovakia back, and that didn't happen. But what do I know? What was your favorite moment from this year's national final season? I don't know. This year was so weird. Do you have a favorite moment? Um, I'm trying to think. National finals were like totally shocker. Um, no, I don't think I have a favorite moment. There were not like a whole lot of oh my god moments. Most of the songs that I thought would win did win. Where were the blind sides? You can talk. Norway's the only one I can think of. Um, is there any other shocker? Israel to a certain extent, but I didn't watch that national final. So yeah, huh. How do you think the live streams will go during the rehearsals? So, Kyle Koala, that's a very good question. And in terms of what we're going to do, is we're going to have live streams. We don't know if anyone will, if I will be on site. If I will be great, but if not, then because we're going to have a an online press center. So that's going to be very different. So instead of being there, we're just going to watch it on our computers and TV screens. And so in that sense, we're going to do the same kind of reporting. It's just going to be different if we're not local, but the content itself is still happening. So we'll be live every single day. Every single day for all the rehearsals, as well as there's also rehearsals, the dress rehearsals, the whole 2 weeks. That's the point. 2 weeks. Unless things go south and no one can travel to Rotterdam, including the acts, then we don't have many rehearsals, right? Because then they have to use the backup recordings. Then there will be only the dress rehearsals where we be able to report. So a lot of it is actually is kind of all dependent on what's going to happen over the next few weeks. But if we're staying optimistic, things are hopefully getting better. People get vaccinated. We will have the scenario B situation. So assuming that's going to happen, 2 weeks of uninterrupted live streams. And I will be doing it, my team will be doing it, but stay tuned for that. So that's just, it was fun. No, I didn't, this was a very just let's talk kind of live stream rather than just going for the news because this is the last live stream of the national final season. We're going to be back next week. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. I'm just saying we're done with the big part. Matt, do you think this is a strong year? Kern Gielan is asking. So I will do a video as soon as all songs are known where I'll compare each song from last year. I do that every year, like 2020 versus 2021, and which song I like better. And at the end, we'll see which songs, which country year wins, I should say. Doesn't always necessarily represent completely the overall quality, but just a fun thing. So I don't know yet. I haven't really thought it through which songs I like better than the others. So that video is yet to come. So somebody asked me earlier, I forgot, I thought it was a very interesting question, and about are there any songs that are considered like not fan favorites where I'm like, I really, really love them. This year it seems to be a lot the case. I have a lot of the songs that are not very much appreciated by the fans, by the masses, that I'm like, oh, I love them. I forgot, let me look at the list again. Let's go back to the first semifinal. The songs that I really like that not enough people are. I like North Macedonia very much. I like Welsh people talk good enough. Belgium. I like Norway. I like the Norwegian song Tix. I get it. It's very late '90s, early 2000s boy band, but that's my jam. That's my genre. So yes, I like it actually quite a lot. Another song maybe that's I like Estonia, Yukusuviste, the lucky one. Not gonna deny it. It's enjoyable, very enjoyable. Denmark. I didn't think I was going to like Denmark, and the more I listened to it, I just love the chorus. It's stuck in my head. Da 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 da. It's my favorite, no, but I just have an affinity for it. I just can't deny it. It's happy sound. And another one, I love my home country this year, Germany. It's hated or loved, right? Or like, but I don't know if it's underappreciated because people that hate it or love it. So I happen to really like it. And then one, I'm not sure if that could be considered one. I am thinking the UK is a banger. I just can't get enough of that song. I love the UK this year. Oh my god, it's so good. It's one of the most energetic songs to me. So that is definitely high up there. So yeah, that was a good question I wanted to bring up. Which country do you want to see to win in the near future? So there are, well, we cannot talk about quality because in the near future, I would love to. There are two criteria I have. Number one, countries that haven't won yet and I want them to do well, and number two, countries I haven't been to and I want to visit so badly, right? So, of course, I want Iceland to win badly, but that one works perfect because they want to win, and I love to visit Iceland. I already have the whole trip planned out, the ring and all of that stuff. I would love to. I want to go to Malta, so I want Malta to win. They're passionate about it, so I'm absolutely rooting for Malta. I want to go to Croatia, so I'm rooting for Croatia as well. So there's, this is my thinking, and it kind of lines up. So whatever countries line up that they haven't won in a long time or haven't won at all, and countries I haven't been to and I desperately want to visit. So Croatia, Malta, Iceland are like a few that come to mind. But then again, I already have a trip planned through Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, so I would like them to win as well. So yeah, that's my thinking. Do you think countries such as Bulgaria, Lithuania, Malta, or Iceland could pull off a good and professional Eurovision? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, they could. Keep in mind, hosting Eurovision, yes, the broadcaster does a lot of the work and the big chunk of it, but you are not going to be thrown to the wolves. The EBU is there with you all the way, and they bring in experienced people. Other countries like Ukraine, they brought out outside people like Christian Bjorkman who know what they're doing. They bring up all these experts so that they look good. What they want to do is make sure that they look like a country that can host it. And the EBU will make sure, like, hey, there's certain criteria. If you cannot provide that, it's not going to happen. So that is basically what is how the approach would be, and that's why I have no doubt in my mind that whoever does it will do a good job. You can make a case about who they're going to choose as hosts. That's going to be a little weird, if that's going to translate well. But other than that, I'm not too worried about that part. So yes, I've rambled enough. This was a very enjoyable thing, and once again, congratulations to Sweden. Job well done. Regardless of what I may think or some of you may think, this is what Sweden wants, and this is what we need to respect. And I hope you'll be back next week, and make sure to check out Italy. Italy's already out. Iceland also starts with an I. Iceland, Malta, Azerbaijan, Georgia. They're all coming out over the next few days. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you all soon. And thanks for the chat. Bye-bye.